Hey everybody, welcome to another Tanks replay. Yep, XVM is still broken. I had a look at the config earlier, tried to figure out what was causing this. I did a quick search to see if anyone else is having the same problem. An old post on Reddit came up, somebody was having the same problem, but I tried the fix that was suggested for them. It did absolutely nothing to help me, so I'm going to have to probably get somebody else to take a look at this who knows how to XVM. I am terrible with it. And the new editor is basically just a sort of notepad type application, and I got over using notepad to modify files when I was like fucking 11. I hate doing it. So you're just gonna have to deal with the shitty XVM readouts for a while. Anyway, playing the T-3485 Rudy with Comp and Nancy, and we've ended up on Redshire North Spawn. Now it's a counter. I don't want to get in the cap, but I want to be near the cap so I can get some early shots off. Unfortunately for me, this T-67 decides to stop in the worst possible place. But I do get a damaging shot off into the M36. I look for one on the Cromwell, but it's a Cromwell. I'm going to have difficulty hitting it at this range. As you can see, our ELC has already got himself into the cap to put some pressure on the enemy. Surprisingly, he isn't dead yet. Shell goes into the Chaffee, and then I've got more shots at the M36. And down he goes. Now, as far as comparisons go to the tech tree T-3485, Rudy is basically very, very similar. Like the Bromwell, it's pretty much the same as its tech tree equivalent, just a little bit better in many regards. So it's a solid tank, definitely worth getting, much like the Bromwell, and it looks quite nice. Yes, it does in fact have the proper crew from the television show, and yes, it does have the dog. Looks like the enemy team are beginning to put some pressure on cap. My own team are pushing the northeast corner. I am not sure why. I guess it could give them some useful flanking shots on the hill, but that's only if they win it. And at the moment they're not. Wolverine drives out into the open. It's the last thing he will do. But our guys around the cap are starting to get dogpiled. They're spread quite thin, and they're not supporting each other. So I dive in to try and rescue them. I managed to get rid of the immediate danger, but there's still some nasty things headed our way. A Jagdpanther, who's full health and also in a position I'd have to expose myself to hit him in, and also a full health Tiger P and full health Bromwell, supported from the hill across the way. Now, unfortunately for Comp and Nancy, he gets one shot by the Jagdpanther. It hits him in the ammo rack. And now it's just me. The A44 is trying to flank around, which probably won't end well. The ELC is running away, and the Jumbo is, well, it's just a Jumbo played by a very bad player, so I can't rely on him for support. Now, even though I'm full health at this point, I was beginning to panic. Why? Well, because I have the potential to not be full health anymore very, very shortly, especially with the Bromwell and the Tiger P rushing me. And you can see I'm not quite sure who I should be shooting at first. The Chaffee saves me the trouble of having to agonize over that by being the first thing to come into my line of fire. The Bromwell then exposes himself. I get a shot into him, but unfortunately lose my driver. And he cleans up the Chaffee. Tiger P gets a shot in as I try and run away. Thankfully not a very meaty shot for a Tiger P. That normally would have been about a 240 odd damage shot. He either minimum rolled me or has the 75mm gun. In either case, he's now capping. I don't want to deal with him just yet, I can handle him later. what I want to do is take this Bromwell out of the equation, because the Bromwell is a much bigger threat to me than the Tiger P. The Bromwell is extremely mobile, fires 2 shots to my every one, just about. It's just not a fun thing to have fighting me. Unfortunately for me, I back out into the open, and the enemy VK, who has not left that position the entire game, is able to kill me. This leaves us down in numbers, but the enemy tanks are down in hit points. The Tiger P could be killed by a stiff breeze, and the Bromwell should die pretty shortly. At least, in theory. In practice, our 3 remaining tank destroyers are spread across the map, and may as well be bots. Particularly the T-67, you'll see why shortly. The T-25 isn't quite sure what he wants to do, so he sort of wallows around helplessly in the open for a while, before finally getting something to shoot at. Of course, it gets the first shot into him, as he takes forever to make up his mind and aim. But he's doing the right thing, moving to cover between shots, and giving it bad angles where he can. He's able to finish off the T-25 AT, but now the SU-100Y is left facing the Bromwell. The SU-100Y is ammo-racked. It also has a pretty inaccurate gun at this range and bad bloom issues, and it's a huge tall target. The Bromwell can easily kill it, while the 100Y can't do much to the Bromwell. The T-67 was off clowning around out in the middle of a field, so he was in no position at all to help the SU-100Y, and now he charges in to finish the Bromwell. He could kill the Bromwell in a single shot if he stopped and aimed, but instead of stopping and aiming, he's going to drive straight past it, shoot the dirt in front of him, stop, and then slowly turn his turret while not turning his hull. He could have easily dealt with that, but he didn't. Worst T-67 NA. So now it's all on the T-25 AT. He doesn't have much left in the way of health, especially after that. That was a shot coming in from the Tiger P on the hill, who does indeed have the 88, so I was lucky with that low roll. T-25 AT now needs to deal with the Bromwell himself. The Bromwell could, theoretically, quite easily handle this T-25, especially after that bounce. He gets one shot in before being blown up. But now the T-25 has to approach the hill across all this open ground, try and spot the Tiger P, kill it, and then kill the Firefly, which has never been spotted. He's able to bounce a couple of the enemy shots as he comes in from the Firefly. Handles the Tiger P, but unfortunately that full health Firefly is able to finish him off. And so the Firefly, who didn't contribute to that match until the very end of it, and the 3601, who sat in one place shooting at things that drove in front of his gun, which unfortunately one of which happened to be me, that was what won them the game. Not actual skill play, just 2 bad players getting very lucky and shooting things that happen to drive in front of their guns. Welcome to NA West, and welcome to why I barely play this game anymore. It's just unbelievable. Our T-67 should have, by anybody's standards, should have been able to kill that Bromwell. All he had to do was stop and aim. Or at least after he overshot it, start turning his hull and his turret. He could have handled it easily, but I've actually never seen somebody quite so bad at the T-67, which is easily one of the most powerful powerful tank destroyers in the game for its tier. But not much can be done about puppies, unfortunately. So I was at least somewhat consoled by the fact I pulled a pretty decent game out of this. 5 kills, 1800 damage, Not the best I've had by any measure, but it's certainly acceptable for a tier 6 medium. Anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and as ever, I will catch you on the next one.